Whenever we speak and have interaction with another person or group of persons, there is always a context. There's no such thing as decontextualized interaction. Even if we think a conversation is just an ordinary casual conversation with nothing serious being discussed, that right there is actually the context. No one was more acutely aware of this than leading linguistic anthropologist Del Hymes, who published Ethnography of Communication in 1974. In that book, he introduced the linguistic community to a method of analyzing interaction, which was premised on the idea that for effective communication to take place, participants would need to share more than the same language, but also an understanding of the wider communicative context. Hymes encoded this idea in his famous speaking schema, where each letter of the word speaking represents one of the components of communication. The first of these is the setting or the scene. The setting and the scene of interaction refer to the time and place of the communicative event, as well as the rules which dictate interaction inside this space. A classroom at 1 p.m., for example, is a physical setting for a lecture on linguistics. That same classroom at 5 p.m. could be used for a student club meeting. The scene is completely different in the second example, even if the setting is similar. P stands for participants. Participants in the interaction are important. For each kind of interaction, there are expectations about which participants can be involved and their respective roles, responsibilities, and power differentials. The ends of communication should be understood by the participants involved. Storytelling, for example, can have several different and simultaneous goals. It could be for entertainment, a rhetorical device, a warning, or for expository purposes. Act sequence refers to the order of speech acts inside a communicative event. Speech acts can set the tone for an interaction. A memorial that starts with a joke has a different tone from one that starts with a prayer. The sequence of speech acts serves to orient participants in interaction to different phases of the communicative event. Key deals with the various stylistic ways in which speakers can indicate information about their speech. Think of the non-linguistic ways in which someone can signal sarcasm, boredom, or disgust. Instrument refers to the form or style of communication, whether verbal or written, a formal or informal register, a shared dialect, or code switching. Norms of communication are cultural rules which govern a communicative event in a specific society. Rules about appropriate topics for communication, turn-taking and interrupting, as well as what kinds of tones are permissible for certain interactions, are all culturally constructed and adhered to by speakers. Finally, the genre of communication deals with the type of speech acts used in interaction. For instance, a story, a joke, and gossip are all distinct genres of communication which follow their own kinds of rules and structure. All in all, simply sharing the same language is not sufficient for effective communication, especially in the case of cross-cultural communication. Participants need to have a sense of the context of communication and the normative rules which govern the context as well as the purpose of communication. If you're ever looking for a reason miscommunication occurs, it's usually a breakdown in one of these components.